this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about helping your children understand the vulnerability of their brain. You need to understand it first. Ever looked at your teenager and wondered, whatever happened to my sweet little boy? Or faced off with your child and said, you are so out of control. Rolled your eyes when your teenager said, Dad, I know what I'm doing. Blame it on the developing brain. The brain is made up of millions of what we call neurons or brain cells. They are connected by arms called axons and dendrites, and these meet at junctions called synapses. The brain grows very rapidly from before birth to about 3 years, and there's a lot of development of these synapses. Then, from there on, the brain makes decisions which connections to keep and which ones to get rid of. The connections that are fed and reinforced will be strengthened and kept, and the ones that are not used will be pruned and lost. The brain works on a use it or lose it principle. And the patterns that are set during development from childhood, especially to early adult life, will set the patterns for attitude, values, preferences, and behavior. The brain, therefore, is malleable in a science we call neuroplasticity. What goes into the brain wires the brain. This is particularly so from childhood to late adolescence. What is fed into the brain influences development. 2000 plus years ago, the Apostle Paul, writing to the Philippians, said, whatever is true and noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. Today, we call it neuroplasticity. Stop for a moment and think. What are your children feeding their brain on? Do you know what television shows they're watching? What video games they're playing? Do you know the apps on their phone? Are you aware if they are even being introduced to pornography? The average age of first porn exposure is about 10 years in Australia. Have you checked with them? This is your role. Do you know how any form of social media, especially anything with a chat function, is an entry into what is called the dark web of porn, predators, and what we call persecution or cyberbullying? There's something else about the teen brain. Not all parts mature together. The first part of the brain that matures is what we call the emotional brain, deep in the brain. It erupts like a volcano at teen or before teen, at puberty. This is the sensation-seeking part of the brain, the one that wants quick rewards. This is rapidly developing. It kind of goes up at a tangential way. The part of the brain involved with self-regulation, executive function, self-control, we're here in the frontal lobes. This does not mature till the mid-20s. Faced with an activity that is perceived as exciting and rewarding, the emotional systems of the brain will outweigh the control brain. Your child's brain, I tell teenagers, is like a red Ferrari on steroids with the accelerator to the floor, hardly any brake pedal, and no GPS. You, my dear parents and carers, you are the positioning system for your children's brain. You are the ones who can help them. Be aware of this. Be aware of what's happening in the brain and help your children control the input, the environment, and the choices they make. Children need your guidance and to help them with decision making, especially in the emotional, arousing, peer-driven situations. You are their guide. If you want more information for your preschoolers, we have this book which we call Me and My Brain, one of the series in Birds and Bees by the book. And for your teenagers or your 10 to 14s, we have Growing Up by the book, which covers the brain development. And for your teens, we would strongly recommend that you use Teen Sex by the book, especially the section that we have on porn and purity and on dating. These are covered extensively. We'd also ask you that if you want more about parenting, the book Talking Sex by the book will help you in dealing with all these issues in terms of being a parent or a carer. My dear parent, my dear carer, these are your children. This is your God-given responsibility to help them understand how vulnerable their brain is. Just do it.